Main topic of this video is my thought and mental after cutting out meat again in my diet. And as somebody that in early 2022, I would say, no, not 2020, more like 2020 through 2022, I was strictly on like a vegan diet. Um, Mostly, I was eating like dairy and those type of things, but I found myself back now, 4 years later down the line, really disabandoning, and I at this point I don't want to go back to eating meat or anything like that, right? And I said that in 2020 as well to 2022 when I did it. But we go in waves in different forms and shape shift during this life. uh, but I kind of want to just give highlight to like why, and not like to give a, oh well, I don't eat meat so I'm better than anybody, but just the overall like mindset, that like excluding meat out of your life gives you. And so what's a main reason, just from my perspective, why people cut out meat in their life is, you understand at just an emotional level that there's a few things, but first thing that you understand at an emotional level is animals have feelings, animals have emotions just like us. So when you're killing animals, right, and then you're eating animals, you're taking in those energies that were, cut off from them when they were dead or unalived or killed, like, and then you're eating the emotions that are most likely, still stuck inside of them when you're digesting this food, no matter what the animal is. um that even goes for, dairy products, like a lot of these animals we're getting dairy products from, whether that be your milk or your cheese, like yogurt, whatever it is. A lot of that, and a lot of those animals that are programmed up to, or stabled up to just give us what we need, like gimme, 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 they're in pretty bad emotional states. So just with us being the highly intelligent beings we are, we're affected by all emotions, we're affected by all our circumstances. So taking time away from meat, or really completely disabandoning meat, disabandoning dairy, that is going to free up a lot of emotional space and emotional intelligence, so you can think better, for yourself, think better for others, and just be a lot more conscious through this life that we have here. Because I think a lot of just what we have to do here is, be conscious. I've been off of it for about 2 weeks now, um, and about a week since like just completely, no, we're good. Like, we're good on the dairy. I don't even want to eat fish, that type of thing, because I'm just trying to be very aware, in this time period of just refining myself after an identity and leaving out of my full-time job to, live a simple life. And that's what I want to live, is a more simple life. So with a simple life, of course, you're going to have a lot of more simple things that you just want to be doing, is living simple. My goal in this life, it's changing, and it's like so many things waver year in and year out. But if you were to truly ask me, just on a given day where I'm relaxed and I'm not tempted by social media, I'm not, having different beliefs just from the videos I watch or the books that I've read, or the people that talk to me, like, I want a simple life. I don't want to, or need to strive to be somebody that's like, oh, like everybody loves me, or I have a whole bunch of money to spend on things that I'm never going to use. Like, I just want to live a simple life. Um, right now, I'm really interested in music. So if you were to really ask me, I'd say, yeah, I want to live a life where I have a genuine fan base, where I'm traveling the country playing my music, and my fans love my music. It's music that they are getting a great positive message from, and it's music that they can, relate to, share with others. This is a beautiful way to pay bills, just the spoken word, and even the spoken word through videos like this, telling you guys about my life, telling you about my story, you know, and I think that that's just a beautiful and just a great way to live life. And of course, like along that way, I want to spread truth about, where we live, the things that go on, because not everything is sunshine and roses here. Let's be honest. Um, Recently, I got a lot of, differing opinions on expressing that where we live is more like, a hell, because that's not to say like, oh, life is just hell, that's it. But it's just to say this existence that we have here, there's a lot of similarities to it being a hell, where we kill animals and eat them. Animals are constantly in fear of survival. People that speak out on society, they're deemed crazy when they're just trying to spread truth, trying to spread a message that is actually positive. And to even spread a positive message without saying it out front, you have to go behind the door and like hide your message to other people. But yeah, not to get too far off track of going the I would call it the more fruitarian lifestyle that I'm going on right now, exiting the dairy. And yeah, so what's some other things that you kind of realize when you fully exit the meat life and you exit the dairy life is you find like you have so much energy inside of you, and you don't even actually get that hungry. We're pushed on us to be hungry because we see it in so many of the advertisements, right? And they pay people to advertise and say like, you got to go to this buffet or you got to eat this meal. They put celebrities in front of a lot of their products because celebrities have influence on, the masses, whether right or wrong. Everybody has um, their own path, their own choices to make with what they want to partake in. And this isn't to say like you just need to stop eating meat, because I was a meat eater at the time, but uh, I'm just recently, I've done the work though to go 2 years before. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, just in real time, this is my thought process. And, even when you're just a week in off of taking a break from eating the dairy or eating meat, your mind starts to change. You start to, be able to question, like, really what is going into my gut, because your gut's like a brain. If your stomach is getting filled with, you know, a bunch of processed food or unhealthy food that's not helping you think right, think straight, then you're not going to be able to think straight. That's just how it is. Your stomach's like a brain, just like they say that your lust controls your brain. There's so many different things that go into your brain than just what you think, because we are in a physical reality. So most things that you do have an impact. Everything you do has an impact. I'm also finding too that since when you eat meat and dairy, it causes a lot of mucus. Why is that? It causes a lot of mucus because basically you're trying to digest something that at the end of the day, it's not even very natural for us to be doing. Um, you have to take tools to kill these animals, and they're killing these animals with tools. When we go out and we shoot these animals with the guns that are man-made, when there's an abundance of fruit on the earth, there's an abundance of berries, there's an abundance of apples, there's abundance of grapes. that we have on this earth, but we not even we, but they, whoever they are, they know that they can take advantage of the lives of other living things and produce fear, put into the meat, like when I say it's trapped in there, produce fear when it's trapped in there to us to process that however we process it when we digest it, to keep the population at a lower state of vibration. And when you start talking about vibration, a lot of people think like, oh, here's the voodoo type of stuff. But instead of vibration, let's just say decrease your effort. Let's just say effort instead of vibration. Because when you're thinking clear, you're going to be able to give more conscious effort to whatever it is that you want to manifest, or however much love you're able to give to things in this life. Because this life, escaping and leveling up, is all about love. And that's what I'm seeing more and more of. Being mad about, other people not living the lifestyle you live. Like if I were to say to somebody who doesn't believe in a fruitarian diet or not eating meat or would never even try it, and then getting mad at that, that's inverse of why you would do it in the first place. Because why, if you're trying to seek more enlightenment or consciousness from your diet, getting mad at other people or being critical on other people about them not changing their life, yes, it can be a little bit like, dude, why do you not want to change your life? Like, like eating meat is really bad for you. Eating dairy is actually bad for you. Or just whatever it is in life that's something that could make someone better. If you're just going to get mad at the person for it, then you're basically going in a cycle of just hatred and anguish, instead of just kind of coming to terms with not everything in this life is just one on one. Like people go in different phases. Like when I was in 2020, I was like, I'm never going back to meat. I ended up going back to meat, right? We fall out of these phases. We got to get back into phases. It's like life goes up and down. We're here and there. And we believe this, and then sometimes we don't believe it. And then we fall into being lazy. Then we fall into being active, right? And so when someone's not living the lifestyle that you're living, that's okay. Don't be critical on that. Just provide the information so that, information can hit people at different times in their life. And even when I went back to me, I always just kind of raised my eyes. I was just working in an environment, back to working that corporate life where it was just so naturalized every day. It's crazy, man. Like thinking about it now, when there's just free food and it's just free products to eat every day, right? We would get free lunch working at a corporate job. They would bring in the lunch, and every day it's just like that food just placed in front of you. And when you work in a corporate job, the popular notion is to make sure that you don't have any time to really even think about what you'd want to eat, because you're going to work, come home, sleep, go back, go home, sleep, back. It's like you're hungry, now you're not hungry, now you're hungry, and then you got free food in front of your face. It's hard to just turn down meat. I was able to do it for about a year and a half, but then I just kind of fell back into the trap of like eating it. And I do say a trap because I do think that eating meat is a trap, because it's going to lower your consciousness. Whoever you are, right? I don't want to sugarcoat my videos or sugarcoat the way things I'm saying, but I want to say, and I want to live a life where I'm not judging because someone else lives differently than me. So, yeah, man, I mean, you got to live the life that you are going to live, and you can't control what other people are going to do or say, or like if they're going to get mad at you for what you say. You just got to live the life that you live and figure it out, because that's what we're doing here, is we're figuring it out. But Um, at the same time, a lot of people are uh, understanding like this place is not built for the best interest in you. So, what can you take in this lifetime, and what can you take while you're here that's going to help you elevate? Like, what knowledge can you intake? What life choices can you intake? What things can you say no to? Because we all have the power to say no. It's hard to say no when there's so many spells cast against us, but we all have the power to say no. So, what are you going to be able to say no to? Because when you're able to say no to more things, just like eating meat or uh, because we're on that topic in this video, eating meat, eating dairy, or let's just say smoking or drinking, right? What can you say no to that's going to help elevate your consciousness in this lifetime? That's what is going to help you just do better and just be greater overall. It's always like, they picture the dream life as gotta have kids, you gotta have the big house, you gotta have the 7 acre lawn and the back where you guys can just go chill out back and go hunting, go hunt down some animals or chill by the whatever, right? So like that's what's always propagandized. But like I said, I want to live a simple life, so I don't need many things. If I can live a simple life where I can just figure out what I want to create, do my little job here or there, make my money to get by, uh, have that little fan base for my music because I love music. At this point right now, it's what I love. I change passions so much, but like wanting to have a simple life brings with it wanting to have simple things. And wanting to have a simple life and honestly living a simple life makes you question why things are so complicated here. Why do they make everything seem like it needs to be so complicated? But then you need to ask yourself that question again, like, well, can I really blame it on anybody else, or do I just blame it on my subconscious mind to thinking I need to have this, I need to have that? I think that it's an internal question that you need to ask too. Like, just because it's something that's advertised, that doesn't mean that it's something that you need to go after or get mad about or think about too much. See, it's the beauties of the advertisement, right? Because social media or advertisement, it's a good place to meet people, but then it's also just, it has a lot of influence on what we do. And even when you are just trying to be happy doing what you're doing, you go on social media for just a couple seconds and your mind can get off track of what you're trying to do or what the process is. Especially when you're trying to be involved in a process and it seems like somebody that, right, this is a real thing, somebody that's right at your level is excelling. It seems like they got all the material wealth and they got the fans, they got the followers, the they got the people supporting them that you would want to have support you on your path or on your journey. So, in this next stage of my life, a lot of it's just going to be about, controlling my conscious thought, not worrying about what someone else's conscious thoughts are. And in controlling my conscious thoughts, like that's going to only help bring love into my life and it's going to help bring other people uh, clarity as well. So, you know, I'm not scared for the future as that much, but I know the future is a lot more simple for me because I've already gone to very high up in the corporate world, you know, working as a designer, and you see the things that are involved with every corporation at this point. I don't say every corporation because I haven't worked at every corporation, but most corporations, it's a lifestyle that I don't want to live. For some people, it's a great lifestyle. That's what they want to do. But it's a lifestyle that I'm all set with. And even just like working a strict 9 to 5, like I'm good on that. I want to find and I'll find like the right balance for me so I can just be mentally stable to go into work every day and not just hate my job or just hate being here, right? Not everything's going to be just so comfortable. Not everything is comfortable. And if you are very, very comfortable, I think that's always a sign to look at, hey, like, what could I maybe change to help myself out? Some people's life, living comfortable, that's what they're here to do. And me as a person that's always has strived to just be great and work hard. I think I need to change my perspective on and criticalness on other people just trying to live a simple life. Because what's the point of getting mad at people because they want to live a simple life? Like, that's their life. And then, like, if you're thinking outside the box, that's cool. But when you're thinking outside the box and then, you're like getting mad at other people for not thinking outside the box, which I've done, what point is that going to take? That's not going to make anybody else's life better. It's not. So, there's a lot of inner work that I still need to do. It's not like you just stop eating meat, stop eating dairy, and you're just like the best person that has ever been created. No, like, I have plenty of flaws, and I'm actively working on them to see a better life, to see a better outlook on everything. And making these videos like this and just talking, they provide clarity. I could make these videos and just hold them, never come out with them. But I feel like whatever it is that we're in, because I always been questioning it. Like, are we living in a realm? Are we living in a moment in time? Like, where exactly are we in terms of like space, in terms of reality? Like, where is it that we are? But I do feel like I can help uplift people as long as I'm taking the steps to be positive with it and just with it each time I'm delivering something, and not doing it out of spite or doing it out of just like, I don't know, petty shit. Gotta throw that stuff out. And just, even though I understand everything that's going on, I think change is happening for the better, even though things seem to be getting crazier and crazier on the outside. Like, realizing life is more than just work and going home every day and then come back into work, going home, come back, the prices rise, prices fall, inflation goes up, inflation goes down. We got the shares going up, shares going down, revenue goes up, revenue goes down, wages up, wages down. Like, just understanding there's more to life than that. And there are people out there that understand that. There are people out there that are going to, implore that. And, someone's going to relate to this video. So I can help people with each video. Things like just talking to people can become things to just live your life off of, which is pretty cool to me. I've already done something pretty cool in my life, making money off of just creating art. Now, the art turned into something where it was contemplation for me, because I just feel like so much of the corporation is fixed and it's not fair. A lot of it, I feel like, is used to deceive people, and take them off the path of what true life is about. When you just throw on like a new playoff series is happening, the NFL playoffs are happening, this celebrity just did this, and I feel like a lot of people in those types of areas, they don't really speak on what's really going on, or the truth. We spend millions of dollars on all these sports events and all these like football games and basketball games. Or someone sent me today the Met Gala event where people spend hundreds of millions of dollars on this fashion, but then you have starving people in countries. So it's a wicked world. Um, there's no type of justification you can give me to having so many millionaires and having so many billionaires, and then there's starving people. So it's things like that you start to think about, especially when you're working at a corporation and you take more than just the individualistic mentality of they don't really care about me, which, yes, that's true. But then you also have to take a look at, like, well, they don't care about me, but more than me, like, why are we putting so much money into, you know, someone running down the field with a football and playing kill the carrier? Why are we pouring so much money into that when there's people out right outside the stadium that are starving, fighting for their life, and they might be some of the most like high wisdom people, but they were never given the chance to like shine or show their wisdom because society's not set up for people with different type of mindsets to flourish, because this society set up for basically people that they're able to say, hey, you're gonna do this job and this is what life is and you need to live this way because that's how we deem it. This is how we deem it, and if you say this is wrong or this is not what you want to do, then you're going to be outcasted. Right, wrong, or indifferent, this is their society. So I'll keep learning though, keep growing, keep pondering things, and right now I like to read and think about how did we get to this point? That's what I like to think about right now. A lot of people like to think about how do we get to this point, but that's a lot of what I'm thinking about now. It's like, how do we get to this point? And how do we shift out of this point? And in my lifetime, will I be able to see that? But also in my lifetime, like what's my ultimate destiny? I guess you would say. What's the destiny? Or like, what's the point? Sometimes I'm like, what's the point? But also I'm just like, if I'm not optimistic, then life is just gonna be like just not good. And there's plenty of moments where I have extreme bliss and I'm just like, wow, like this is beautiful. So that's what we're here for, is those moments that it's extreme bliss. At the same time, a lot of times that bliss comes from an understanding that like that feeling should be happening a lot more often than it is. And you start to raise your eyebrows like, why is not every day or every moment feeling like bliss? Like, why is there a certain standard to like you need to work this amount of hard work until you feel bliss? And does that come from the structure that society has created? Does that come from a subconscious structure that you've tricked yourself into feeling like this, or feeling like, not every moment is blissful, or you need to work so hard in order to like attain happiness? I don't know. I'm someone who questions it, and I'm just wondering more and more. Like recently, I've just been trying to just clear my mind. So that's what goes into those things. Is like, okay, let's back away from the lust. Let's back away from the food we eat. Let's be cautious of it. Let's read more books. I'm dedicated to my craft, but even just this week, I just been feeling like off with the music. I haven't been as adamant to create. I just been like sitting back this week. And it's like, why do we always have to feel pressure? We don't have to, But it's like, especially in Western society, why is there always a pressure to like be doing something? Like, I think that sitting back and just relaxing, that needs to be something that we do more of. So whether that's a difference of just, it has to be a difference in the society that we live in order to be able to sit back and think more, right? I mean, when you're able to sit back and think more, you're going to be testing uh, what what type of life you live, because when you're able to sit back and think, your mind unlocks, especially if you're doing all the other things in the background, like limiting what you eat or really consciously eating, or like limiting your lust and not being consumed by, you know, girls, women, pornography, things that are gonna have your mind in jumble, hold you back in this lifetime. So, things come and you get downloads so fast when you truly sit back and you're not consuming all these different things that are not great for you, and you're living a more simple life. People are going to look at you a lot differently. But I think that's natural. If so many people are doing one thing and kind of living a life they might teeter off of like a little bit, but you got a lot of people that are living like the same life, but so you're going to have those people that are going to be very critical, and that's going to be the majority. But there's people that, even just me putting out a couple of videos that might be very controversial to a lot of people, or people feel differently or weird about what I'm saying, there's people that understand too. There's people that will understand you. There's going to be people all across the world that will understand you still, because there's so many people here. So you're not alone, right? And a lot of times when you're just someone who thinks a lot, you can be like, am I just alone? And it's like, that's a limiting thought. That's not having love if you're thinking you're just alone and everybody's against you. That's what the system wants you to think once you start to wake up. Is like, okay, like, I'm literally alone in this place. Wherever this place is, wherever this time period is, whoever created this reality. Maybe we all created this crazy reality where we're just fighting against ourselves. But to think you're alone, that's not the correct way to think, in my perspective. There might be some people who really think like there's one mind. That's cool. But, thinking you're alone, that's going to bring loneliness. And there's so many different personalities, even if you were alone and it was one mind. Like, people have like that solo mind theory. You still created so many different aspects of it. So just enjoy that and love that you created so many different personalities. Like, there's so many different personalities in this world, man. It's crazy. And there's so many different things to do. That's why a lot of times I can't even figure out what my life path is. Like, I'm like, bro, there's so many different things you can try out. There's obstacles in the way, but a lot of the obstacle is the mind. So it's like, that's when you start thinking like, well, is it a solo mind? That's what can get you trapped into that. But it's just like, even if it was, there's always room to elevate. So like, you can get yourself out of any mental situation. You can get yourself and you can remove yourself out of it. So that's the beauty of it. But I just think, like, why is there so many hurdles to like live the life you want to live? And even if you want to live the simple life, at this point in time, even living the simple life, you need to like obey society still, and they still need to have like a track on you, and You still gotta like follow these like rules that were put in place and make this like made up currency called money and have enough coins to pay. If you don't have enough coins, then you're gonna be on the streets, and if you're hungry, we don't care because you don't have enough coins. If you don't have these cards and these documentations, we're not gonna help you out, even if you're sickly, even if you're on your deathbed. So it's crazy when you think about it. Like it's really crazy. That's why I say like we live on a hell earth. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like when you really think about it, it's crazy. And like I'm cynical, but some people like will talk about it, and like when I'm watching it, I'm like laughing. I'm like, is this one sick game? Like, how are we playing a game? Like who's playing a game with me? That's why I be asking myself. I'm like, all right, what game are they playing? Because that's what it seems like. It just seems like a game. It just seems like a game where it's like it just goes round and round. It's just a game. It's like like why are we playing this game? And who's playing with me? Like who at the top is playing with all of us? That's why I ask. Like who's playing with us? It's interesting, man. But there's a lot more to come after this, and I just think positivity is what you need to have. You need to have a realistic view on the positivity. So having a realistic positivism. I don't know. Is that a word or phrase? I think that's what you need to have in order to, do what you want to do in this life. And I think that things are obviously getting really crazy, but that's only because a lot of big changes happening. A lot more people are like, bro, what are we doing? Like what? Like what? Like why? Why? Like why is it like this here? Why is it like this here? What happened to make it like this here? But let me know how you guys are thinking in the comment section, and yeah, because I'd love to know the thoughts and just what path are you in life. What are your thoughts on diet? What are your thoughts on limiting the distractions that keep you from thinking consciously and thinking with a full consciousness? Let me know. But yeah, peace.